Hi, and welcome back to Cello from the Beginning. This will be our first proper lesson on Winter Hymn. So if you've stumbled across this video, there is one video before in the progression that is an introduction that covers some details in the sheet music that you'll want to know before we start. So as always, the link to the sheet music is in the description. You can print that out, and when you're ready, we can get started. So let me just play a little of this for you so you get the idea of it before we start talking about it. That's how far we're going to go in this video. That's the first 8 bars or 2 lines if you've got the sheet music printed out. And then in the next video, we'll do the middle and final section. So this uses finger patterns we're really familiar with at this point. We're using on our D string, D, E first finger, F sharp third finger, G fourth finger, open A, first finger B, third finger C sharp, and fourth finger high D. And rhythm-wise, for this piece, we're using quarter notes. Those are quarter notes. We have some eighth notes in here, little sections there. And then we didn't get to them, but at the end of the piece, or towards the end of the piece, we get some half notes as well. But mostly quarters and eighths for most of the piece. Let's talk about a couple of technical details to notice before we start running the piece proper. So we have some string crossings here to address. Now we've had these in other pieces, so you should be starting to be familiar with this technique. But right away in going from measure 2 to measure 3, we have to go from the open A to a third finger on the D, F sharp. And at that point we've been playing on the A, so our hand is firmly on the A. And I have to execute that string crossing with my left and right hands. So this is going to be another case where we're going to want to do that thing where as we're playing the open A, we're anticipating the movement of the third finger, or really of the hand. So I'm already there now, right? I'm not waiting until it's time to play the F sharp to then try to move my left hand because it'll be too late. If I do that, uh-oh, it's time, and my finger is not even over the D string. So when I get to those open A's, and I can go ahead and even touch that string. I don't necessarily have to push it down. Then the other string crossing is going the other direction. We play the F sharp, G, 3, 4, and we go back to the open A. So this is from our fourth finger on the D string to the open A. This is one we've also worked on in previous lessons, so you should be getting pretty familiar with it. But just remember that you have to pivot the bow and make sure that that fourth finger is not dragging or touching on the A string when you go to make your change. All right, so that's really the technical challenges of this movement. It's not particularly difficult as string crossings go compared to some things we've already played. So let's take a look at these opening 2 measures. So these are all quarter notes, and it just goes like this. So as you can see, especially if I adjust my camera just a little bit, you can see I'm using nice full bows on this. Now it's mezzo piano. We talked about that in the previous video. So Not as loud as you can play, sort of, you know, a middle dynamic, medium soft, but still some sound. So I'm using a nice long bow, probably from about here to here. Not a huge amount of pressure, just more or less the weight of the bow. Tiniest bit of lean as I go down bow towards the tip, but not much at all. You don't want to overdo that. You don't need to grow on these notes. We want kind of a nice stable dynamic here. And the fingering, very straightforward. It's 4, 4, 3, 3, 1, 4, A, A. That's it. We stay on the A string. Again, 4, 4, 3, 3, 1, 4, A, A. All right, you can try that plucked a few times, and then when you're ready, let's put the bow to it. So here we are bowing from the beginning. So we start with all 4 fingers down, good curved fingers, curved thumb, good bow grip, and we're in the right part of the bow and in the right part of the cello. 1, 2, ready, play. 4, 3, 1, 4, A. And remember, when we go 1, 4, it's not 1, 4 like that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that gives us a nice strong grip. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you always want to be careful about that right now, building that hand position, not just using a single finger at a time. Let's try this again. Let's do it a couple times. 1, 2, ready, and 4, 3, 1, 4, A. One more time. 1, 2, ready, and 4, 3, 1, 4, A. All right, when you're comfortable with those 2 measures, when you can play the notes in tune with a good sound, you're ready to go on to measures 3 and 4. So let's do that now. So here we're on to the D string, and we have this figure twice. That's measure 3. That's measure 4. Same notes. In fact, the only difference is that when we play it the first time, we're starting with a down bow. And then because of the way it works out, when we play measure 4, we're starting with an up bow. But our left hand, which we can look at now, is exactly the same. 3, 3, 4, A, A. 3, 3, 4, A, A. Now let's talk about the rhythm here. So we have quarter, 2 eighth notes, quarter, quarter. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Or if my beat is steady, 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So that second beat has 2 notes, 2 eighth notes in the space of 1 quarter note beat, like this. So that's the rhythm. The most important thing is not to drag on those eighth notes. When you're first playing it, especially if you're having any trouble with the fingering, you'll want to slow them down. So you just want to remember to keep them at exactly twice as fast as your quarters. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So let's try this now with the bow. So starting with third finger on the D, 3, 3, 4, A, D, 3, 3, 4, A. 1, 2, ready, play. 3, 3, 4, A, 3, 3, 4, A. Let's talk about one more thing, which is a bow distribution thing that happens here. Not only are my eighth notes twice as fast, but I have to make sure not to try to use the same amount of bow as on a quarter. Otherwise I get this. And they really jump out. It doesn't sound good. So I want to use less bow on those eighth notes. Watch the bow distribution when I just play the open string with this rhythm. Long, short, and long, 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 short, and long, long. Do you see how what a small amount of bow I use on these eighths? So we want to try and do that as you're playing now with our fingered notes. See it? Small bows for those eighth notes. Don't change the speed of the bow. We don't need to go faster for the eighth notes with the bow. Same basic bow speed, I'm just not using much bow. All right, let's try putting this whole line together now, especially if you've now practiced measures 3 and 4 and you've got them solid. Let's put the whole line together. 1, 2, ready, play. 4, 3, 1, 4, A, D3, 3, 4, A, 3, 3, 4, A. Okay, that's the first line. Now, if you've learned that first line, you've actually learned almost all of the second line. Take a look at these first two lines. I'm going to play the second line and see if it sounds familiar. Okay, so far it's exactly the same. How about the next measure? Exactly the same. Exactly the same. There's our change. That's it. The only thing different about line 2 from line 1 is the last two notes. Instead of going up to the A string twice on that figure, this time we play 3, 3, 4, 1. Play that first finger on the D string, that E, so we stay on the D string. So it goes up the first time, and then it goes down the second time in this line. So we can let's just do those last two measures of the second line to get that difference. So it'll be 3, 3, 4, A, 3, 3, 4, 1, 1. Let's try it with the bow. 2, ready, and 3, 3, 4, A, 3, 3, 4, 1, 1. One more time. Ready, and 3, 3, 4, A, 3, 3, 4, 1, 1. Okay, so if you've learned that, we're ready to play the whole second line. So let's try it. This is second line. 1, 2, ready, and 4, 3, 1, 4, A, D3, 3, 4, A, 3, 3, 4, 1. Okay, that's the first 2 lines of our piece, the first 8 measures. So let's one time go all the way through the first 2 lines. We'll start at the beginning and play without stopping all the way to the end so we can get that connection of the different sections connecting together and the different lines connecting together. And then you just have to remember that change on the very last 2 notes of the second line where we stay on the D string and play 1-1. I'll do this one without calling out the notes so that you can just play along. 1, 2, ready, and. Well, there you are. That's the first part of Winter Hymn. So come back, and next time we will go over the rest of it, and then we'll put it all together. We'll see you there.